right. Hello, everyone. Welcome. And it is good to have you here with us. So, whether you are joining live or watching the replay, we appreciate you taking your time to be part of today's conversation. And as we go through everything, feel free to use the chat if something comes up or you have a question, drop it in there. And also later, we will be setting aside time to let you guys in. If you want to join us live, I will be posting a link for Zoom so that you would be able to also ask your questions live with us here. So, for those of you who may be new, my name is Nadine, and I'm a full time advocate with the Disability Digest. And my role here focuses on helping individuals understand the process and take the right steps in a way that is structured and consistent. And joining us today, of course, Brian Therrien, our founder of the Disability Digest. And Brian's work centers around helping people understand how to get approved and stay approved. And he will be leading today's discussion. And of course, we are also joined by Philip Price, who is both a disability recipient and an ambassador. Philip works closely with the individuals exploring opportunities like this, and he plays a key role in helping determine who may be a good fit. So, for today's conversation, it is about income options before and after disability, what's safe and what's not. We're going to be talking about real stories here. And a lot of people are trying to figure out where income fits into this process. They would be asking questions like, is it safe to work? Will it affect my benefits? What can I realistically do within my limitations? And at the same time, there's a need to understand what actually works, not just in theory, but in real situations. So before we get started, I do want to set a quick expectation. Okay. This opportunity is not for everyone. The work that we do involves supporting individuals who are sick or injured and trying to get their disability benefits approved or keep them. And because of that, it requires people who are reliable, consistent, and able to follow through. If it sounds like you, this could be something worth exploring. If it doesn't, that's completely okay. We will also talk about other ways you can still earn income with us. And I would encourage you to stay through the full session because there are a few things we will cover that can really help you if you're thinking about applying. So, to start us off, I want to bring this into something very practical. So, Brian, for someone listening right now who is trying to understand whether it's safe to work, what this opportunity looks like, and what types of roles might actually fit within their situation, can you share from your experience what you've seen work and what might make sense for someone in that position?
Mm, that's a lot to cover. First of all, thank you for the introduction. Welcome, everybody. This is one of my favorite topics. Here at the Disability Digest, we've had disability recipients, able-body and not disability recipients, and you're going to hear from both of them today. Um, and I'm going to speak in general. I mean, there's certain things that will work for people that are disability recipients from the financial perspective and the workflow perspective, but there's also a whole host of things that do and don't work for able-bodied people. So it's not necessarily specific to that. Should I speak to the money part first, Nadine? What do you think?
Yeah, because I think that's what most people would be interested about. And
Okay.
that's a
Okay.
pretty common question that we get almost every
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. Well, not so much about how much you'll make, how much you can make is what I want to cover. So
Yeah.
here at the Disability Digest, from my experience, we started having advocates, as I refer to them, disability recipients, work here in 2007 in January, Dennis Berry. Um, and we've always had disability recipients here. At some points in our history, it's been as much as 60% of our team. And we're aggressively hiring now for disability recipients. And that is one of the first questions and concerns for people is they work so hard to get their benefits, they don't want to lose them. And many don't know that they can work. So here's the deal. As of this recording right now, Social Security regulation allows you to earn $1,210 a month each and every month without doing anything special. You stay below that and you can keep your benefits. So that's the regulation. My advice to people and those that work here, we put them in a workflow where they're like 15 hours a week and usually stay like 20% below that amount, which is a super safety net, in my opinion. So historically, and all the time that we've had people working here, people get reviewed, yes, but no one has had their benefits taken away because of earnings. So the regulation has worked in my experience, and it's totally safe for people. So that's the financial piece and how our positions are designed around here. I'm super confident and comfortable with it. Um, and so that's the first piece. Um, what about uh is on what's on your mind for the next like questions like the reality of working and expectations and schedules? We're going to get into this with Philip because you'll hear firsthand from his experience. Philip has been here for a long time. Um, and so here's the thing that I see with what doesn't work for people. Um, Most that are disability recipients would like to think that they have total control of their schedule. And if you do, that's fantastic. Some of you do. But oftentimes it's your condition that dictates your availability to work and be present and do that. So if you attempt to align yourself in a position that requires that you be on at a certain time, um, that really increases the degree of difficulty. An example of that would be is let's say you have a job that is not here at the Disability Digest, it's a retail job, and you need to be somewhere at a certain time to show up to do that job. That puts you in a really challenging situation. Um, so that's not how the workflow here at the Disability Digest is. It's flexible schedules. We all work from home. And if you're not able to work, we do have coverage. So that has allowed us to increase the probability of success. Now, learn this through trial and error, of course, because we've tried things that didn't work. Um, What other things you might think would be important to cover in this?
So I think also one of the common questions would be like how much, yeah, like what you said earlier, they usually would want to know how much they're allowed to earn while they are receiving disability income, and also pretty common question that comes up as well, like almost every week would be, is it going to like affect their CDRs or
Yeah,
reviews if they are working? Yeah.
yeah. All right. So for that, I'm going to check the box on that, say that that is not an issue from my perspective, and I wouldn't put people in harm's way to do that. Um, I want to pivot a bit, and I want to share what has worked and why here. In our business, and if you're brand new here and you don't know this, welcome. But our business is providing a membership to people that is of no cost so they can understand how to get their benefits approved and to stay approved. And for those of you listening out there that have, maybe you're still working and you have some type of a condition or impairment, or maybe you're all the way through and approved. Um, what you have experienced with your condition, and I'm going to use somebody that's gone through and they've been approved. The experience that they've unfortunately gone through is they're not able to work. And typically, with that becomes financial pressures. And oftentimes, it will compromise relationships. It just has a whole host of things. Um, and that experience that somebody has. It's not something that I or Nadine, who haven't been through that, can relate and connect to somebody. It's like the work that Philip does and why he's been so successful here. One of the reasons is he's been through it. You'll hear his story in a few minutes. So, coming to work here, individuals already have a built in ability to have empathy and relate to people. And that's super powerful for the Disability Digest because our objective is to, make people feel comfortable, help them understand what we have for resources to get approved so that they can do what they need to do and move forward. And when you're in that shock and awe of out of work and don't feel well and confused, um, the the best clarity is typically empathy in doing that. So
Yeah.
that's one of the keys for people that are out there, and why this w has worked, will worked, and we've been blessed to be able to do this work, provide a membership that has no charge. We are a for-profit. We make money through services that we provide. Our insurance business that we have to help people with their Medicare decisions, and we help people get approved for disability benefits, some of them as a representative. We're in a partnership with Google and YouTube where there's advertisements on some of our videos. So there's things like that that we do that allow the membership to be of no cost to people so they can come through and get approved, stay approved. And thousands of people have come through here and used our disability approval course and done it all on their own and, not needed representation. That doesn't work for everybody. They just don't have the capacity to follow the directions and do it right. So then in that situation, we're here to help if they want it. So I want to pivot. I want to throw this back to start throwing it back to you. But before I do, you're probably looking at us and say, what is with this group and their necklaces that they have on?
Yeah.
Um, so Daphne, who is one of our advocates, shout out to you, Daphne. She's not able to make it today, but she is a hobbyist of beading. And so I commissioned her to create tenure necklaces. And these necklaces have beads that represent how long individuals have been working here at the Disability Digest. So this is our bling that we have. So if you come join
Right.
us, you'll be set up with these after you reach a tenured point.
No diamonds
No diamonds yet.
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 Yeah.
Gold nuggets and diamonds.
That's it.
It's
That's
coming.
it. Right. Okay, so for those of you that have been at our events, you've heard Nadine do the wonderful introductions and manage the Q&As and other parts of these events. And Nadine works here as a full-time advocate, and she has a variety of roles, but speaking to members, clients is one of them. And she's has just a beautiful ability to connect and relate to people. So I want to have you speak from your perspective. Like, what is it that you see that you could communicate to somebody or some people out there that is the key to success to help people be successful here? What is it that you see? Is there a certain characteristics,
Sure.
things they do, things that you do?
Of course, of course. I want to talk about that because working here at the Disability Digest is not something that you're selling something that is tangible or convincing people to buy something that you sell, right? We are here, we are in the business of helping people, real people who needs help. So aside from what you mentioned earlier, having the empathy, uh, dealing with our members here, I also want to talk about one very important thing that would make you successful here, and that is responsibility.
Mm.
And that means that you are showing up, means being present, for calls that you've scheduled for your for the members that we cater here every day. Uh, Being able to answer their questions, providing them with useful information that would help them and guide them through the process. Even simply being there for them if they get confused, or simple questions about how to fill out forms.
Yeah.
So just simply showing up to them, that is already something very important that would make you successful here. And also not just showing up, but also following through. We need to say, doing what you say you would do. So if you have the ability to be able to do that, follow through tasks, follow through commitments that you have with our members, or the people who work with here, then that is going to set you up for success. And lastly, communicating clearly means you're able to express your thoughts, um, inform the people you work with, especially Brian or Philip and I, if we're going to be working together. uh, Clear and open communication with one another is also very important here. And that's also one thing that I love working here at the Disability Digest, because Brian, he is very open to feedback and ideas. So our communication here is not just one way, but we are able to speak up and talk to each other about our thoughts. So, yeah, I
Mm.
think those are the main things that work for me, and have me stay here and get this, yeah,
Yeah,
special bling, because you cannot have this if you don't stay long enough here at the disability life.
right on.
So,
No,
yeah.
that's well said. It's interesting. Um, I'm just gathering my thoughts here on the responsibility. You can have all kinds of characteristics. You can be a good learner, you can be a fast typer, you could have a sales background, which is actually not good here. But you can have all of that. But if you don't have responsibility, the ability to hit and check all those boxes, like Nadine said,
Yeah.
it's just not going to work. But thank you for that, Nadine. And before we get on to Philip here in a minute, I want to share with you more about what you or an advocate or somebody would be doing. We have a variety of positions here, but what we encourage people to do and what we're looking for is to people to come in, and their baseline starting point is as an advocate that is going to be doing working with our members. And the reason for that is, if you understand the members that we have, the challenges that we have, and how we service them and get them through, then you can go on to other areas like human resources. You can go on to other areas like marketing, all of that. Like Philip has like 8 years of advocacy work that he's done, so he can leverage that into other areas. It's really important to understand the business. So, regarding what people will be doing here, I want to give you an example. I am going to share my screen and I'll walk through um, a few steps here, but I'm going to use the disability approval process as an example. I'm just going to give you a concept of what the approach is. When somebody joins us and they're going through the disability approval process, or think they need to or should, then they have the ability to connect with an advocate, Nadine or Philip or others, and they'll take the time to understand or better understand their situation above and beyond what was provided in their membership profile. And then they will provide them with a strategy after they ask some questions. And the strategy that we provide is, you can do this on your own. We provide you with a course, it's no cost. And that course has got step-by-step segments in it from some of the best in the industry, like attorney James Mitchell Brown, Michael Sexton, Mary Jean Ellis, who was here last week. It's some of the best people that I attempt to find in the industry to put in there, and you can use it. And that's when I say thousands have used that to get their benefits approved, then, I mean, they're using their advice. So, but some people are like, you know what? I need my money fast. I don't want to take any chances. I don't believe I can pull it off and do all the steps that need to be done. And if it's a fit, then we'll represent them. Or maybe we send them or partner them with somebody else that we're working with that's in our speaker forum. So it's really the delivery of information and allowing the member to make the decision on what's going to be best for them. It's very similar once somebody is approved. They have Medicare, sometimes Medicaid, which exposes them to a variety of options. We lay out the options and they choose the one that's going to be best for them, or they can choose none. So it's providing the options, letting the individual make the decision. So we're not in the you need to do this business. It's here's your options. Let us know how we can help you. So what that involves is supporting members with clarity, like Nadine said, and I'm referring to what's up on the screen here, and being persuasive and being clear. And this is something that you should really strongly consider type approach, not telling them that they need to do that and supporting it with here's why. Um, and the next one is learn and grow. People that come into here or other work environments and they're just task orientated. They don't take the time to learn new skills or techniques or improve, or like when I'm doing these presentations, there's things that I'm working on, like reducing filler words, trying to be more concise in my explanations. That's what we're looking for in people. So you have your work part and you have your growth part that we're looking for. Um, Contribute. And one of the things that we're looking for is you are part of a team that puts messaging out to help people get approved, stay approved. So if you are comfortable in doing this or willing to get out in front and learn and go through the process to do this, that's another key thing. And following a proven process. We don't have all the answers, but we know enough to know that if we do the steps required and we're working on somebody's disability case, that there's a very high probability that we're going to get that approved because we've been doing it for 19 and a half years. So we have a system that works, and staying with the system is what's going to work for somebody that's here. It's when there's 10 steps to do, but you only choose 7, and the other 3 you don't think people will notice. That's where it starts to break down. So positions. We have full-time positions if people are interested, and we have part-time, which are designed for ideally disability recipients. So if somebody is out there and they're kind of in between, and maybe you've been looking for a job and you're in the disability application process, I want to address that. In my experience, it's better for you to solidify your income by getting approved first, before attempting to work. And you can talk with us here about it and break it down and understand what your options are. For many, it's better for your health, and you have your disability income, and then you also have your income from working here part-time. So we're not in favor of people that are in the application process pursuing positions. I don't hire them because it's really that extra income is going to be detrimental to their approval chances. So then they're really stuck. So those are a few things to consider. All right. So that is my part of like what you would be doing. I want to pivot and go over to like our main event today, which is Philip. So Philip, for those of you out there, and I don't expect anybody really does know your true background, like what your life was like before you had to change and pivot and go through the disability approval process. But could you share with the audience your background? And then what we're going to do is kind of walk into or go forward into like how Philip became an advocate, became a successful advocate from there.
Sure. Well, starting out, I was at 17, I had to go to work to help, with the finances in the house because it was just me, my brother, and my mom. And I got into construction work and did that for 35 years. And anybody that's been in the construction business knows that it's hard work, hard labor work, physical. And did that for 35 years. The last 15 years of that, I had actually started my own business and was running a cabinet shop. I owned a cabinet shop. And did that up until I was 52, 53. I started losing my eyesight because of diabetes. And I had diabetic retinopathy. And it got to the point where I couldn't even drive anymore. Well, if you can't drive and you're in the construction business, that don't work. You got to be able to get around. And I couldn't hire somebody to drive me around just doing that, taking me from job to job to job. So I had to come to the realization, talk to at that time, my wife and my kids, and decided it was time to hang up the pouch, try to find something that I could do. And it's a big change from going to being a carpenter your whole life to trying to find something else to do. And after I was approved for my disability, it took me 4 years to get approved. And after I was approved, you sit around wondering, what am I going to do now? I can't just sit and do anything because I'll just waste away. And my conditions that I have would, if I sat around and did nothing, I would just wither away fast. So I knew I had to find something to do. And I decided that, even with my vision, I could still go online and do some research and trying to find something. And I actually came across the Disability Digest and actually submitted an application. And I thought, what do I know? I know disability because I went through it. So that was one good thing that I thought I would be able to help other people understand is the process. I did fill out the application, send it in, thinking, I probably wasn't going to get hired because I'm a carpenter. What do I know about helping people get approved or going through the process? But Brian gave me the chance, took a chance on me and hired me on as an advocate at that point. So that's what I've been doing ever since as an advocate. Also helping with those that do get approved to understand what they need to do to keep those benefits and how to increase those benefits also.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Philip, thank you for sharing that with me. I mean, going from, like, we could say low to no experience and doing this, but I mean, with your visual impairments and the work that we do is even when you started, it was all like online. Is there anything that stands out that helped you transition from getting involved to like the success that you have? Was there anything that gave it that push that you can reflect on?
Well, it was certainly asking a lot of questions. I know I burned your ear up with questions and problems and how to handle it. And all the advocates that I've worked with over the years have been extremely helpful in that process. Even today. And I have to apologize to Nadine because there's a lot of time I have to rely on her to help me because visually, I
Okay.
I have I have messed some things up because of my vision, and I'll have to
Yeah.
rely on Nadine to catch them for me and you know message her and say, "Hey, Nadine, I think I messed this up just the other day. I did it, and she had to help me with it." But
Yeah.
yeah, the problem is still there. But you know, in order to do this business or to do what we do as advocates, you got to have some, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, Tenacity, and you want to stick with it. You got to be able to uh, problem solve
Yeah.
and be willing to do that. If you're not willing to um, go the extra mile, then it's probably not for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, Nadine.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say you gotta learn how to find a solution before you would, you know, even uh yeah, to do something. And also I just want to mention something that Philip said earlier, and it really struck me because I think it resonates to a lot of disability recipients. Like when you're already receiving your benefits, like for a while, you would start to think, okay, what do I do next? Like, what is my purpose?
Yeah.
Right? So um I think a lot of people who are disability recipients have also asked that question to themselves.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah.
and working here, that I think Philip would agree, you're not just working to earn, but you're gonna work here with a purpose,
Yeah.
Yeah.
changing people lives. Yeah.
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 When I filled out that application for the disability digest, at that point, I wasn't looking, what's the money I can earn and how much. It was more about, what I went through and what I could do to help somebody else. It was in the same spot I was.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of people out there that are right now trying to apply and they're thinking, what can I do? What is there out there that I can do that will help me survive?
Hmm.
Um, and all I can say is, if I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. I mean, from a probability perspective, with no background experience and low to no vision, I mean, that's the deck was stacked against you. So persistence definitely paid off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And you have,
it wasn't just the vision, it was all my other conditions because I had kidney transplant, triple bypass surgery, um, numerous operations on my eyes, and all that.
mhm.
Um,
Oh, you've had strokes.
oh, yeah, 3 strokes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Hopefully you're done. Um, Yeah, but the thing that I reflect upon about Philip and others that have been successful here, there's the common through line. Nadine hit it. One was responsibility, but I'd have to say a close second is the ability to be empathetic. And empathetic means in this world is understanding the situation and helping with the situation, but you have to be careful about not allowing the situation to penetrate you and absorb your emotions. I had a real challenge in the first 6 months here. I actually didn't think I would be able to do this work. Um, and that it's that one thing, and you might not get that with the first explanation, but that's what really makes the difference is if you can focus on the solution. And like I was just thinking when you guys are saying this, um we had somebody recently, she schizophrenic, suicidal, in her 40s, homeless. She's been bounced around with 3 different homes, um we got her approved before hearing. She got a boatload of money, like over 100,000. It's a lot of money, and it just that changed her life. Um, excuse me, I get a little choked up. But I'm back. You know, it's that work that we do here that really makes a difference.
Yes.
Um, so, all right. So we've talked about some of the things that you do, the responsibility, Philip. Thank you for that. Do you have any parting words of advice for anybody, whether they're going to, consider coming here and blessing us with their presence and working here or somewhere else? Any last nuggets of information?
Just that, do something. Get up, get up, get off that couch and go out there and do something, whether it's here with us trying to help other people or
Yeah.
in your community, going to, spreading what we do to somebody out there that needs the help and may not know where to go.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, don't just sit around wasting away. Get up and do something.
Yes. That's great advice. All right, so we've talked about responsibility, empathy, communication, following the process. And I just want to hit a little bit more on some of the concepts of working here and the positions that we have. We do have a flexible structure if you're a part-time worker that has come here, and this could be stay-at-home moms or disability recipients, then typically you're assigned to a team and your teammates can help you cover your work, vice versa. So we do have that component in place. And our workflow for most, it's 4 days a week, and that could be like Monday through Thursday or ending on Saturday. We don't work here on Sunday, and Saturday is a short day. Uh, but the most of the work that is done here for advocate work and working with members is Monday through Thursday is when the heavy workload is. So, and Nadine said this at the beginning, the not a fit for people. I want to address that and tie it into what Philip just said. It's really unfortunate for people that choose to do nothing, and I strongly discourage that. And this may or may not be for you, but if you don't know if it is or isn't, here's a few things for you to consider. The do something piece that Philip said is really the first step. And maybe you think, well, maybe I could do that at the Disability Digest, but I'm not quite sure. I would encourage you to put your body in a test situation, whatever that might be. And it could be, getting up off the couch and going for a walk once a day for 10 minutes and getting the mail rather than have somebody else do it. It could be expanded to getting out of the house in your area and going and volunteering once a week or 2 times a week. Um, just get your body in a situation where you're testing it and build upon that. There's lots of places where you can do this. Or if you're limited to being at home, we've had people that are just on the phone calling other people that are in need of just a hello, checking in, how are you? And you can do that through your local Center for Independent Living. They have support systems in place. So encourage you to do that. Um, and we have a referral program here at the Disability Digest. If this isn't for you, if you were to refer, say, 2 people a month to the Disability Digest that we helped, and if you look at the top of any of our web pages, you'll see there's a refer a friend link. If you did that and they went through, I mean, you could earn $2,500, $3,000 a year just referring people here that are in need. So you can check that out. Um, so the next thing I want to do, and we're going to move into a Q&A in a minute, but I want to go back to the website that I shared with you and just give you an idea of what the next steps are for individuals that are interested in applying. And if you're watching the replay of this and look around for the directions, maybe you're on the page where this is actually playing and you scroll down below, there'll be a link around the video. But what you need to do to make this work, and Philip, Nadine, if you have other insight on this, let me know. You need to have a reliable office setup, which means like a designated place in your home where there's no background noise. We all work at home. Like in the summer, I work here, and usually when I'm doing these events in the summer, the lawnmower guy is right there. It's just the way it is. I mean, that's how we work. But having a place where you're set up. And being comfortable with some of the basic technologies like email, other digital tools. We use a lot of chat GPT like tools here, and we have online phone system that we provide. So the ability to use that high speed internet is going to be necessary. And the work is flexible, but there is a workflow that involves meetings, like we have a structured meeting process, and those are really important to attend. So, if you're not able to work that day, ideally, we are, unless something really comes up, you can't make it, then we do ask that you participate in your team flow meetings. So, and then there's some pre-hire process that you're going to go through. So the next steps would be on this page right here, and we'll put a link um, out in the chat in a few minutes. Or actually, we're going to do it at the end so people are not distracted and applying right now. You complete the application, and we're going to ask or offer you the opportunity to submit a short video about your background and why you think this position is for you. And maybe there's some things that you have up your sleeve for skills that you don't know about, or maybe you've worked as a social worker, or you've worked at a nurse, or maybe you've got 35 years of construction experience, which seems to be a real key indicator here for success today. Um, so you have the opportunity to express that, and then we'll walk you through the process. So it's apply, check your email, follow the steps, and we'll guide you through the process. All right, so now Nadine, I want to turn it over to you for a frequently asked questions section. And Nadine?
Sure. And while we go through the frequently asked questions, I also posted the link for those of you who wants to join in and ask your questions live. Okay. So you can check out the comment section. So one of our frequently asked questions here, Brian, um, it's what if I don't think I can work or I'm afraid I'll fail again?
Hmm. Do you know if this question is from somebody going through the approval process or looking at like already awarded? We have an
What?
idea?
Yeah, while on disability.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, okay, I'm going to go back to the test increments that I explained. Like, put yourself in a situation where you can test and get your confidence up, because I heard the word think in there, I believe, right? So
Yeah,
you can eliminate that. That's definitely what works. Test, test, test.
yes. Okay. All right. Another question here. Will trying to work hurt my disability case or cost me to get denied? So clearly, this is from someone who is still going through the disability approval process.
Yeah, this is my opinion. Like we had expert Mary Jean Ellis, she has a slightly different opinion on this. So the regulation allows you to work and earn money. I think it's $1,560 or some figure around there. But
Mhm.
what you're attempting to prove is that you cannot work. So, in my experience, when there's income being shown for disability applicants, especially if you're under 50 years old, it just opens the argument for Social Security, and it's difficult to get these cases approved. Now, this is just a general statement, my opinion, and there are some instances where if the income is like in the hobby level, like $400 a month, and maybe you're selling stuff online, there's some other situations where that could be okay. But I want to share this regarding that question. There are times when it could be beneficial for you to try to work through the approval process. A common example would be let's say it's around the holiday season, or right now in the north here, there's a lot of like summer jobs that come up. So if you have been through the initial application and you've been denied and you're at reconsideration or waiting for a hearing, and you're like, you know what, I want to give it a shot. And you go back and you try it and you're not able to make it work, and that work experience is less than 30 days, that could be valuable evidence to put in your case file. It's like, man, I've been waiting. I tried it again. This is what happened to me. So those are a few things to consider.
All right. Now we also have, I want to insert some question from the comments here, Brian, if that's okay.
Yep.
The question is, has working while on disability become a trap for losing disability income, come CDR time?
With the my experience that I shared with you, I'm going to go back and say since 2007, when we started having advocates here, we've had no advocates have had any of their benefits compromised or even gone through an overpayment inquiry. None, zero. The key is staying within the guidelines. Now, it would be different if what commonly happens is people are not aware of the regulations, and they earn over the limit, but that doesn't happen here. So that's hopefully that will help you out.
All right. Another question, what kind of work is realistic if I have limited energy or unpredictable symptoms? So, like for someone who cannot stick on a fixed schedule, I think.
Yeah. Well, I if that were me in today's environment, I would learn how to use AI. And you could learn how to use AI free. It doesn't matter which one, and you could teach other people how to use it. That is an incredible trend. Two is what I'm doing right now is I'm talking into a camera and I'm broadcasting over here on TikTok. Is content creation is something where you can do this when you feel up for it. You could do this 2 hours a day, post videos, and I mean, you could do TikTok shop. There's a lot of things you could do with social media, and there's low to no barrier to entry except for your willingness to pursue it and do it. Um, and so those are just two that come to mind. And I think part of it is if you realize that you're in a situation where you have low to no energy, I mean, that could be your channel right there. This is what I do with low to no energy, and I'm sure there's others out there that would be interested in what you have to say. And as I've said before, if somebody starts or has content that's of value and they're doing a good job and we can collaborate, because I'm sure we have members here out of all the members that fall into the situation. I'd be glad to like promote it, cross market, help you out, give you a boost. A couple of ideas. Yep.
Dude, I love the idea of content creation, especially if you are a disability recipient who's gone through the process. Simply sharing what you went through, sharing
Yeah.
your experience, that's already, a good starting point of creating a content,
Yep. Just
right?
one more thing on that. I think if somebody did like similar to the School of Hard Knocks, where they interviewed and they had disability recipients on, and just like Philip just shared his experience, like, okay, tell me, what are you doing? What's worked for you? How did you get your took us off the couch? I mean, a channel like that, there's like 9 million uh, disability recipients just in the US, but there's, I don't know how many people have that are working with, impairments and challenges. So,
Yeah, that's a good idea. Someone should start doing that. All
yeah.
right. Another very common question here, Brian. How do I know if I'm working too much or earning too much?
Mm. Well, I'm genuinely concerned with that because it doesn't sound like you're aware of the regulation. There is a regulation that is clear. It shows you the $1,210 a month. And I don't know if it's convenient for you to find it and put it in the chat. Actually, I think I can if you can't. Um, yeah, on our agenda today at the bottom, there's how much I can make. I'd go in, I would print that off and put it on your refrigerator. So you, yeah.
Brian, I have one here from my group, if you don't
All
mind.
right.
Sure. Go ahead.
All right, it says, does side gigs, side work, gig work, cash jobs count towards my earnings?
Supposed to. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Your award letter says, if you're working, report your income. And so the right way to do that is to report your income, file your taxes, and yeah. So, I mean, I don't encourage people to try to get away with getting cash. I've known situations where this has happened and people have been called out. Just not good.
Yeah. Maybe you could hit a little bit on what's the trial work period.
The trial work period is you can earn as much money as you want for 9 months over 5 years, and you get it once. So they don't have to be consecutive. Like if you wanted to load up and do 3 months and then take a break and try another three, then you can do that. Yeah.
What happens after the trial work period? The
Well,
nine
if
months.
you maintain work, then you're out of the trial and you're going to migrate off of benefits. Or if you stop work, then you just are on benefits.
Okay.
I think we have a question here related to that as well, if you don't mind. It says here, if I try to work and it doesn't work out, will that be used against me?
Well, it depends on where you're at in the process. I mean, if I'm going to speak to somebody that's approved, this is where my position is on working. I encourage people to have a realistic approach and work part-time. Going from zero off the couch to taking a full-time job is not going to be effective. And it could cause money problems and it could cause health problems. Rather, if you stay under the allowed amount and do this on, as a proven period with no risk to your benefits, then you could make the decision. Well, say, listen, for 18 months, I've been working part-time. I'm feeling pretty good. I want to try my trial work periods and crank it up. That would make sense. So um, the 0 to 100, don't encourage it. Just a general, opinion based on what I've seen.
Do you have any other questions from your group, Philip?
Sure. It says, how do I report wages to SSA properly?
Yeah. First thing is you notify them that you're working, and the typical flow is this. You send them something in writing, and most people, have an idea of how much money they're going to make. Say, I'm going to work part-time. My goal is to make, $600 a month. And if my health allows, and send that in. You're fulfilling your obligation to notify them that you're working. Then, if they ask for additional information, which they typically don't, then you would provide it. But what the typical process is, if you notify them, make sure it's delivered, keep a copy, you fulfilled your part of the award letter requirement. And if they want other information, then they can request it.
Okay. Here's another one. It says, will working trigger a medical review?
Mm, will working? No, I don't believe so. Working, if you work too much, it's going to trigger an overpayment. But I don't know of a connection between tracking income. I don't. I'm not aware of that.
See, one more. This we've already pretty much gone over all these. It says, how many hours can I work without hurting my case? To
Mm,
somebody before they or during the
yeah.
application process.
Well, work and school are considered gainful activity. So I kind of put those in the same thing. And if you're working 15 hours a week, it's back to the part-time income example that I shared with you earlier, that it just provides Social Security with the opportunity to say, maybe if you had a go to pain management, you'll feel better so you can work full time. Or if you change doctors, or I notice that you stopped taking this it just opens things up. That's as best I can say. It's a tough situation, but the top shelf way to look at it is you're attempting to prove that you cannot work.
And let's say, what if you uh, decide to get off that couch and go uh, enroll in some education? Is that going to affect before and after?
Well, before, I have known it to be considered gainful activity. So there is a difference between education and work, in that commonly education, you can get accommodations for it. And the work and the homework and the studies, they're not as regimented. Oftentimes, classes now you can take the exam on a flexible schedule. So there is some leniency there, and there is some work environments where there's a parallel. So it, from that perspective, it would be viewed differently, but it's still viewed if you go through and you get, college degree, you get a master's degree, and you go on and you want to like get a doctorate. I mean, they're definitely going to look at that like, this person's highly educated now. There's got to be something they can do if they're good enough to get through school.
Yeah. I believe that's it for the
Nice.
group today.
All right.
All right, I still have a couple of questions here for you, Brian. Oh, actually, just a few more. Um, are there ways to earn or receive support that don't affect my benefits? I think this person is asking for other ways to earn aside from working.
Well, I want to address it two ways. If you are a Social Security disability recipient, then you're subject to the earnings that I mentioned. Now, what I want to clarify is that that income that counts towards the $1,210 a month that I mentioned is income that comes from gainful activity, like you're working. So, for example, if you have rental property, that's passive income. Uh, Or if you have insurance residuals, that's passive income. It doesn't count. For some content creators, you may produce a video that went viral 2 years ago, but it's still generating revenue. And if your tax person does their job right, then they're going to categorize that income differently than gainful activity. So that's the difference. So if somebody gifts you money or it falls into one of these non-countable categories, then um, you treat that different.
Okay. All right. Now, earlier, we talked about how we can be successful in the work that we do here, right? So
Yeah.
we have a question here. What is the common reason an advocate does not succeed?
Oh, you know what? That's a really good question. And it goes back to responsibility. They don't, I can just think back through turnover we've had recently. One example is there's 10 important steps to do, and the person had been here for a while and decided that they're only going to do 7 out of that 10. And the impact of that was, it wasn't serving our members. That's that's typically what it comes down to. Or we're supposed to call somebody or call somebody back or complete a certain task. That's the impact. If it might, perhaps this sounds really, really simple, but it's just doing the work and following up. Like I've met some young guys that are going into the trades, recently, like, Gen Zs, some Gen Xers, and I'm like, um, man, all you got to do is show up. Now, in that work, all they need to do is show up, and if you're an electrician, hopefully you don't burn the house down. Um, but here, you need to be responsible. You've got to look, it's like baking a cake. You've got those 10 ingredients, you got to put them all in there unless you're going to make something different.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, those are all the questions that I have for you today, Brian.
Right. Well, I thank both of you for your contributions to today's event. I view this to be super valuable in helping others out there understand, like, work in general, what could work, what doesn't work, and if this might
Yeah.
be for them. So, for those of you listening out there and want to learn more and be considered here at the Disability Digest as one of our team members. Nadine will put a link in the chat. You can check it out. If you're listening to the replay and you can't find it, then members just contact us on the support desk. And if you're listening and you're not a member out there, we are biased, hire members. So we ask that you join us as a member, and so you understand how the membership works, and then seek to go through and apply. It's difficult for you to relate to our membership if you're not using it. So, folks, we're here twice a month, and I encourage you to come back and listen. There was one thing I want to give a shout out. We have, for those of you that may be stuck on the couch or in transition, anybody with a sickness or injury, we have an upcoming event from Salah, who runs a rebranding company, and she teaches companies how to rebrand, like she rebranded the Disability Digest. But she is an amazing individual that was like a professional athlete shape that came down with some serious health conditions. And despite all that, she's succeeded immensely in life. She's rebranded herself. And she's going to come and share her story and allow you to come into the conversation like this to engage with her so that you can get some ideas, some insights, some inspiration. So have a look for that. That'll be coming up in one of our next episodes. As always, folks, make it a great day. Again, Philip, Nadine, thank you. God bless everybody. Tune in.